The fierce fire on the demon-burning platform had raged for 3 days and 3 nights. You knelt at the center of the platform, the black iron chains piercing through your piper bone. Every breath brought searing, tearing pain. Your white robes had long been soaked through with blood, your cascading hair obscuring your face. Only when you occasionally looked up could you see those eyes once as bright as stars, now gazing at you with disgust, cold and stagnant as a dead pool. Below the platform, the elders of the righteous sects sat like mountains, their expressions solemn. At the very front stood your senior brother Bo Chia, hands clasped behind his back. His blue robes fluttered in the wind, his dark hair bound in a crown, retaining that same cold otherworldly demeanor. 3 years, you gazed at his profile thinking to yourself. So 3 years of being by each other's side count for nothing against a baseless accusation. Yan Zhaoshui. His voice was faint, like snow drifting on a high mountain. Do you confess to your crimes? Confess. You wanted to laugh but only coughed up a mouthful of blood. The karmic fire of the demon-burning platform specialized in burning the wicked. The phoenix blood within you was being incinerated bit by bit, the pain so intense you nearly fainted. Yet what hurt even more was the way he looked at you, strange, cold, as if he was staring at a heinous sinner. Senior brother. Your voice was soft, barely audible. Do you truly believe that I am a spy sent by the demon race? Bo Kia finally looked you in the eye. In those phoenix eyes you once loved so dearly, there was not a trace of warmth. The evidence is conclusive. Do you still intend to deny it? Evidence. That was right. They had found a secret letter from the demon race in your room, claiming you had infiltrated the TNG sect for 3 years to steal the secrets of the demon subduing tower, their most sacred treasure. But that letter had clearly been planted. We were childhood sweethearts, we grew up together. You raised your head with difficulty, your gaze burning as you looked at him. In all these years, have I ever done a single thing to wrong the TNG sect? Bo Chia's brow furrowed slightly, but he quickly regained his indifferent expression. The demon race is cunning and excels at disguise. Yan Zhaoshui, you have pretended for long enough. Pretending? You finally laughed, laughing until tears streamed down your face. Yes, you had indeed been pretending to be an ordinary human woman. Pretending not to know you were the last of the Phoenix clan, pretending not to see the faint affection he held for you, and pretending to believe that one day he would love you as deeply as you loved him. But you never expected that the moment your identity was revealed, he would be the first to seek your death. Senior brother, do you remember the cold winter last year when your cultivation went awry? Who was it that watched over you for 7 days and nights without sleep? Your voice grew weaker and weaker. Do you remember that to save you I nearly exhausted all my enough? Bo Chia snapped abruptly, cutting you off. He flung his sleeve, sending a blast of energy that struck you, forcing you to cough up another mouthful of blood. Demoness, stop mentioning the past to confuse people's hearts. Demoness, so in his heart you were already a demoness. You lowered your head, your long hair hiding the last trace of attachment in your eyes. Fine, this was fine. After all, Phoenix Nirvana required raging fire. Although the karmic fire of the demon-burning platform was overbearing, it could also aid your rebirth. Only after this rebirth, you, he and the TNG sect would have nothing more to do with each other. Someone whispered below the platform, this demoness is stubborn as a mule. She's been burning for 3 days and still refuses to confess. I heard she was usually very close with senior brother Bo. Tisk tisk. The demon race's beauty trap is truly formidable. Isn't it just? Luckily, senior brother Bo was brilliant enough to see through her true colors. Bo Chia's back stiffened slightly. He remembered last night, just before you were led up to the demon-burning platform, you had grabbed his sleeve. Tears in your eyes. Senior brother, are you truly going to do this to me? He had shaken off your hand. Thinking back now, your eyes then didn't look like you were begging for mercy, but rather like you were saying a final farewell? No, impossible. He shook his head, banishing the thought from his mind. A demon is a demon, they are best at bewitching people's hearts. As the young sect master of the TNG sect, how could he, Bo Chia, prioritize private feelings over public justice? The karmic fire grew fiercer, and your consciousness gradually blurred. In a trance, it seemed you were transported back 10 years to that afternoon when you first met Bo Chia. You had only recently taken human form, ignorantly stumbling into the mortal realm. He was the one who saved you from a pursuing beast, asking gently, "Little one, what is your name?" Yan. Yan Zhaoshui? You had randomly fabricated a name. Zhaoshui? He had smiled, his clear, handsome brows curving into a pleasant arc. A fine name. Since you have nowhere to go, why not come back to the TNG sect with me? From that moment on, you became the junior sister of the TNG sect, his little shadow. You accompanied him in sword practice, in comprehending the Tao, and in passing through countless spring and winter cycles. You thought those days would last a long, long time, long enough for you to wait slowly, for him to see your heart, for him to understand the depths of your love. But you had forgotten that humans and demons tread different paths. The moment your identity was exposed, all that beauty turned into fleeting bubbles. Senior brother, using the last of your strengths, you looked up at Bo Chia, reflected in the karmic fire. His silhouette was somewhat blurred, yet you stubbornly wanted to see him clearly, to etch this moment of him into your memory. Because after Nirvana, you would forget everything of the past. You would forget the joy and sorrow of these 3 years, and you would forget the person you had loved for these entire 3 years. Bochia met your gaze and his heart tightened inexplicably. In those eyes there was no resentment, no unwillingness, only a tenderness he couldn't understand, and relief? The karmic fire on the demon-burning platform truly lives up to its reputation, you said softly, a smile actually gracing the corner of your lips. Senior brother, thank you. Thank you? Bochia frowned. What was she thanking him for? Before he could figure it out, a sudden change occurred. Suddenly blinding golden light erupted from your entire body. The karmic fire seemed to be ignited by something, shooting straight into the sky in an instant. A wave of heat swept across the entire demon-burning platform, forcing the crowd to retreat again and again. This is... An elder exclaimed in shock. Impossible! Amidst the golden light, your figure gradually faded. Indistinctly, the crowd seemed to see the phantom of a phoenix, entirely red gold, spreading its wings as if to fly. The sound of a phoenix's cry pierced the clouds, carrying an indescribable desolation. A phoenix! She is a phoenix! Finally, someone recognized the phantom, their voice trembling. Heavens, we are burning the bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Chia's face instantly turned ashen. A phoenix, Yan Zhaoshui was a phoenix. Not a spy of the demon race, but a member of the Phoenix clan, thought to be long extinct in legends. He staggered forward a step, wanting to do something, but was forced back by the karmic fire. He could only watch helplessly as the golden light grew brighter and your figure grew fainter. Zhaoshui. He finally panicked, his voice losing its composure. Yan Zhaoshui, you come back to me. But it was already too late. When the last ray of golden light dissipated, nothing remained on the demon-burning platform but a pile of ashes. The karmic fire also extinguished strangely, as if it had never burned at all. Bochia knelt before the ashes, his hands trembling as he tried to grasp something, but he only caught a handful of grey dust. The wind blew, and even the ashes scattered. No. His voice was soft, as if he were afraid of disturbing something. Zhaoshui, only now did he understand what your final thank you meant. You were thanking him for sending you to the demon-burning platform, allowing you to borrow the power of the karmic fire to achieve nirvana and be reborn. But a phoenix after nirvana forgets everything of its past life. In other words, even if you were still alive, you would no longer be his Zhaoshui. 3 months later, Baihua Valley. You sat by the stream, your pale fingers lightly plucking the zither strings. The morning light was just breaking, the scent of flowers faint, and the music of the zither trickled like a spring. You had a new name now, Feng Qingyu. As for why you were here, or why you were injured, you knew nothing. You only remembered that you were the last of the Phoenix clan, remembered the excruciating pain of nirvana, and remembered that someone had once hurt you deeply. Who was it? You couldn't remember. Every time you tried to recall, a tearing pain would shoot through your chest. The young lady's zither art is truly the sound of nature. You raised your eyes to see a man in green robes standing not far away. He had a clear, handsome appearance and an extraordinary bearing, with a gentle smile in his eyes. May I ask who you are? Your voice was distant. I am Ye Shuyan. I happened to be passing through, and was drawn by the young lady's music. He clasped his hands in a polite greeting. I apologize for the intrusion. You nodded slightly, put away your zither, and stood up to leave. For some reason you instinctively wanted to avoid contact with others. Please wait, young lady. He suddenly spoke up. I observe that your breathing is unsteady. It seems you have suffered an internal injury. If you do not mind, I know a little of the medical arts and might be able to treat you. Your steps faltered, and you looked back at him. His gaze was open and sincere, without a hint of frivolity. This reminded you of something, yet you couldn't recall what. Thank you for your kindness, but it is not necessary. Your figure flashed, and you disappeared into the depths of the flower forest. Upon returning to your small hut and closing the door, you coughed violently. Blood seeped through your fingers, a startling bright red. The price of nirvana was greater than you had imagined. You had kept your life, but your vitality was severely depleted. What troubled you even more was that your memory was faulty, the emotions of your past life remained, the love and the hate were still there, but the specific people and events were blurred and unclear. You only knew that someone had betrayed you, that someone had pushed you into a sea of fire. That pain of betrayal followed you like a shadow, waking you in the dead of night, causing you to keep your guard up against everyone. Miss, you have returned. Xiao Qin pushed the door open and entered. She was the bluebird spirit you had taken in. Eh? Why is your complexion so poor? It is nothing. You waved your hand. Go prepare some meals. Xiao Qin retreated with a look of worry. You closed your eyes, and the image of the man named Ye Xiuyan from earlier surfaced in your mind. When you saw him, your heart felt an indescribable sense of discord, as if there once was another person who would also care for your injuries in this way. But who was that person? Where was he? Why did he hurt you? You smiled bitterly. The fire of nirvana had burned away too many things, turning you into a pitiful person who remembered the pain but not the reason for it. Half a month later, Ye Xiuyan came again. This time you did not leave immediately. Perhaps it was because your injury had worsened, or perhaps it was because the concern in his eyes was too sincere. Does Miss Feng truly not need treatment for her injury? He sat down on a rock opposite you, his expression filled with worry. You fell silent for a moment, then finally extended your wrist. I will trouble you then. His fingers pressed against your pulse point, the warmth sending a slight tremor through you. How long had it been? How long since anyone had treated you with such gentleness and care? You watched his focused profile, and in a daze, you seemed to see another face. That face was cold and distant, looking at you as if you were a sinner. Miss, Ye Xuyan's voice pulled you back to reality. You are trembling. Only then did you realize you were shaking. You hurriedly withdrew your hand, avoiding his concerned gaze. It is nothing. Did you find anything, Master Yi? His expression was grave. Your injuries are severe. Your meridians are severed inch by inch, as if burned by an extremely domineering fire. To heal you will need the Millennium Snow Lotus. The Millennium Snow Lotus. This item only grows at the peak of the extreme North Snow Mountain. It is extremely difficult to find. He paused. If you trust me, I am willing to seek this medicine on your behalf. You looked at him in surprise. Master Yi, we are strangers. Why would you want to help me? He smiled, his expression warm. Let's just call it making a friend, in this life. There should always be some kindness given without expecting anything in return. Kindness without expecting a return. Your heart stirred. Hadn't someone once treated you this well? But why did you only remember betrayal and hurt? Then thank you. You finally nodded. But the journey is dangerous. Please be careful, Master Yi. After he left, you sat by the stream lost in thought. Xiaoqing ran over and asked curiously, Miss, that Master Yi is really nice. Why didn't you ask him to stay a little longer? You shook your head. Xiaoqing, there is no kindness in this world without a cause. But miss, the way he looked at you was so sincere. Sincere? You gave a bitter laugh. You once thought someone was sincere to you too, but what happened in the end? Just as you were thinking, a sudden sharp pain pierced your heart. You clutched your chest as a familiar aura approached. That aura made your whole body turn cold and made you want to flee. Miss, this is bad. Xiaoqing ran over in a panic. There are many cultivators outside. They say they are from the Tianji sect. Tianji sect. These three words were like a knife, stabbing ruthlessly into your heart. You didn't remember what the Tianji sect was, yet you instinctively feared that name. Miss, let's run quickly. You shook your head. We can't leave. In your current condition, you couldn't escape. Rather than being chased down in a sorry state, it was better to wait quietly for whatever was to come. The door was pushed open, and a man in a green robe walked in slowly. The moment you saw his face clearly, your heart seemed to stop beating. It was him. You didn't know who he was. You didn't remember his name, but your body remembered. It remembered his brow and eyes, his aura, and all the pain he had once inflicted upon you. Bo Chia was also stunned. 3 months of searching, 3 months of torment, and he had finally found her, but the person before him was her, yet not her. She was still as beautiful as ever, with her phoenix eyes glowing and skin as white as snow, but the way she looked at him was strange and guarded, like looking at a stranger she had never met. Zhao Xue. His voice was trembling. You frowned. Zhao Xue, was he calling you? But your name was Feng Qingyu, not Zhao Xue. You have mistaken me for someone else. You spoke coldly. I am Feng Qingyu, I do not know any Zhao Xue. Bo Chia's face instantly turned pale. She didn't remember, she really didn't remember. The fire of nirvana had burned away her memories, making her forget him and forget everything about them. You? He took a step forward, and you subconsciously stepped back. This movement was like a knife plunging ruthlessly into his heart. She in the past would never have dodged him. She would only have giggled and thrown herself into his arms, pestering him and calling him senior brother. Please do not be afraid, miss. He tried hard to keep his voice calm. I am Bo Chia, the young sect master of the Tianji sect. I came this time because I sensed the aura of the Phoenix clan here. Phoenix clan? Your heart tightened. He knew you were of the Phoenix clan. So what? You forced yourself to remain calm. The Phoenix clan is a line of divine beasts, and the Tianji sect has always respected them. His gaze was so tender it seemed ready to drip water. If you do not mind, miss, you can come back to the Tianji sect with me. The sect will surely take good care of you and help heal your injuries. Return to the Tianji sect? Another sharp pain shot through your chest. No, you could not go. Although you didn't know why, every cell in your body was resisting. Thank you for the kindness, but it is not necessary. You refused coldly. Bo Chia's hand clenched into a fist inside his sleeve. She was resisting him, resisting the Tianji sect. Even without her memories, her body still remembered the harm she had suffered. Miss, you are injured, and it is inconvenient to be alone outside. He refused to give up. The Tianji sect has excellent spiritual medicines, and also, I said, it is not necessary. You interrupted him, your voice carrying an anger you hadn't even perceived. Please leave, Sect Master Bo. I have no fate with the Tianji sect. No fate. Bo Chia smiled bitterly. Yes, from the moment he sent her to the demon-burning platform, their fate was severed. In that case, I will not force you. He took a deep look at you. But if you ever need anything, the doors of the TNG sect will always be open for you, miss. He turned to leave, but stopped at the door. Take care, miss. Watching his back disappear, you suddenly collapsed to the ground. Xiaoqing hurriedly supported you. Miss, what is wrong? You shook your head, unable to speak. You had been holding it together during the confrontation just now, but only now did you realize your back was soaked in cold sweat. That person named Bo Chia. Why were his eyes so sad? Why did he look at you as if he were looking at someone else? And why did you hate him so much? Hate him enough to want to kill him? Miss, that sect master Bo seems very special towards you, Xiaoqing said cautiously. The way he looked at you, it was like he was looking at a treasure he had lost and found again. A treasure? You sneered. If he really treated you as a treasure, how could he have let you fall into the state you are in today? After leaving the hut, Bo Chia did not go far. He stood in the forest nearby, staring intently at the small house. Senior brother, is that young lady really? The junior brother beside him hesitated to speak. It is her. Bo Chia's voice was very soft. She just doesn't remember. Then we set up a defensive barrier nearby to protect her safety, he ordered. Remember, do not disturb her and do not let her find out. But senior brother, are you not taking her back? Bo Chia was silent for a long time. She is unwilling. Yes, she was unwilling. Even after losing her memory, she was still unwilling to go with him. This was retribution, he supposed. He had hurt her so much in the past, and now she was punishing him with forgetfulness. Send someone to the extreme North Snow Mountain, he said suddenly. Go to the extreme North Snow Mountain for what? To pick the Millennium Snow Lotus. Bo Chia recalled the injuries he sensed while checking her pulse earlier, and his heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. She needs this. Night fell, and you tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. Bo Chia's face flashed through your mind constantly. You were sure you had never seen him before, so why were there such intense emotions? That hatred came without reason, yet it was terrifyingly real. And his eyes, so sad. So full of despair, as if he had lost the entire world. Zhao Xue, you murmured the name repeatedly. Is this your name? If it is, then what exactly happened in your past? Why, after Nirvana, did you forget everything but could not forget the hatred? The moonlight outside was like water. You got up and walked to the window, only to discover a faint fluctuation of spiritual power in the courtyard. It was a barrier. Someone was protecting this place. Was it him? Complex emotions surged in your heart. If he wanted to protect you, why did he hurt you back then? If he cared about you, why did he make you suffer so much that you would rather be reborn through Nirvana? You closed your eyes, trying hard to recall, but the more you thought, the more your head hurt, until you finally had to give up. Let it be, the past is nothing but emptiness. You are now Feng Qingyu, not some Yan Zhao Xue. 10 days later, Ye Shuyan returned. He was travel-worn, unable to hide his exhaustion, but in his hands, he held a jade box with extreme care. Miss Feng, I have succeeded in my mission. He handed the jade box to you, his smile warm. You opened it, and saw the Millennium Snow Lotus. The lotus was crystal clear, emitting a faint cold air. One could tell at a glance that it was of excellent quality. Master Ye, this. You didn't know what to say. The extreme North Snow Mountain was so dangerous, yet he had actually made a trip for you. Take this medicine, and your injuries should improve significantly. He took out a prescription from his bosom. This is the method for brewing it. Remember to take it on time, miss. You looked at his frostbitten hands, and a strange warmth rose in your heart. Why? Why what? Why are you so good to me? You looked at him seriously. We have clearly only met twice. Ye Shuyan smiled. In this world, someone always has to show kindness first. Isn't that right? Besides... He paused. Seeing you suffer, I cannot bear it. Cannot bear it. Such a simple reason, yet it made your eyes heat up. The efficacy of the Millennium Snow Lotus was truly miraculous. After taking it for 3 days, your injuries showed significant improvement. The severed meridians began to slowly heal, and the phoenix true fire rampaging inside your body gradually calmed down. Miss Yang, Master Yi is here again, Xiaoqing ran in to announce happily. He brought lots of tonics too. You put down the medical book in your hand and walked into the courtyard. Ye Xuyan was standing under the parasol tree. Sunlight filtering through the leaves to dapple his form, making him look as warm and gentle as jade. Miss Feng, you look much better, he said, stepping forward with a smile. It seems the snow lotus was effective. It is all thanks to you, young Master Yi, you said with heartfelt gratitude. He had visited almost every day recently, bringing all sorts of rare medicinal herbs and tonics. By the way, the flower festival in Baihua Valley is coming up in a few days, he said, as if remembering something. Would you be interested in going together, Miss Feng? A flower festival? You paused slightly. Since waking up, you hadn't stepped foot outside this valley. The valley will be in full bloom then. It is the most beautiful time of the year, Ye Shuyan said gently, seeing your hesitation. You have been recovering for so long. It would be good for you to go out and relax your mind. After a moment of thought, you nodded in agreement. Perhaps it was time to go out and take a look. You couldn't hide here forever. Bo Chia stood in the shadows, watching this scene clearly. As he saw the faint smile you gave Ye Shuyan, his hand clenched tight inside his sleeve. All these days, he had been protecting you from the dark, watching that man named Ye Shuyan appear by your side time and again. He watched you go from guarded to accepting him, and watched you show the first smile since your nirvana to that man. And he could only hide in the shadows, like a ghost who dared not show his face in the light. Senior brother. A junior brother's voice came from behind him. The sect brothers from the extreme north snow mountain have returned, they said. The Millennium Snow Lotus has already been picked. Bo Chia closed his eyes. He knew who had picked it. Ye Shuyan. That man had beaten him to it, doing what he had wanted to do. Senior brother, should we? No need, Bo Chia interrupted his junior brother. Her well-being is more important than anything else. Yes, as long as she was well, what did it matter who gave the medicine? Yet his heart still ached, the pain so intense he could barely stand. On the day of the flower festival, the weather was sunny and the air crisp. You changed into a pale white gauze dress, tying your black hair up simply with a plain silver hairpin. In the mirror, your complexion was rosy, the sickness from before completely gone. Miss, you look so beautiful, Xiaoqing admired from the side. Young Master Ye won't be able to take his eyes off you. You gave her a faint glare. What nonsense are you spouting? It's not nonsense. Even I can tell how young Master Yi feels about you. Xiaoqing blinked. Miss, what do you think of young Master Yi? You fell silent. Ye Shuyan was wonderful, gentle and considerate, attending to your every need. Any woman would be moved by a man like him. But you touched your chest. It felt as if a piece was missing, leaving an empty void. Even facing Ye Shuyan's tenderness couldn't fill that emptiness. Let's go. Not wanting to dwell on it, you stood up and walked out. The flower festival was held in a large flower field at the entrance of the valley. It was late spring and early summer, and flowers of every color were in full bloom, filling the air with an intoxicating fragrance. Ye Shuyan was already waiting there. When he saw you, a look of amazement flashed through his eyes. Miss Feng, you look truly... He paused, seemingly unable to find the right words. You flatter me, young Master Yi. You gave a faint smile. Shall we go? The flower fields were bustling with visitors, mostly local villagers and cultivators. You walked side by side as Ye Shuyan carefully introduced the various flowers to you, occasionally sharing amusing anecdotes that made you smile. Look, Miss Feng, that is the twin lotus. He pointed toward a pond in the distance. Legend has it that if lovers view the twin lotus together, they will stay together until they grow old and never part ways. Twin lotus. You gazed at the blossoms nestled together in the pond, a nameless bitterness rising in your heart. A lover. Had you ever had one? If you did, why did things end up like this? Miss Feng. Ye Shuyan asked with concern, seeing you lost in thought. Are you tired? You shook your head. I am fine.
Let's continue. Just then a sudden commotion rippled through the crowd. It's young Sect Master Bo from the Tianji sect. Heavens, why would young Sect Master Bo come to a place like this? I heard he has been in the area recently. Who knows what he is looking for? Your body instantly stiffened. Bo Chia? Why was he here? Following the crowd's gaze, you indeed saw that figure in green robes. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back at the far end of the flower field, aloof and cold like a banished immortal. Women around were stealing glances at him, their eyes full of adoration. You subconsciously wanted to leave, but it was too late. As if sensing something, he turned his head, his gaze landing precisely on you. As your eyes met, you saw a flash of pain in his gaze, but quickly his eyes shifted to Ye Shuyan beside you.
His gaze instantly becoming sharp. Do you know young Sect Master Bo, Miss Feng? Ye Shuyan noticed something was amiss and asked in a low voice. I have met him once, you answered briefly, pulling him away. Let's look somewhere else. But Bo Chia had already walked over. Miss Feng, we meet again. He stopped 3 paces away, his voice gentle, but his eyes fixed intently on you. You had no choice but to stop. Sect Master Bo, may I ask who this is? He looked at Ye Shuyan, asking the question he already knew the answer to. I am Ye Shuyan. Ye Shuyan returned the greeting with neither arrogance nor humility. I am a friend of Miss Feng. A friend? Bo Chia sneered internally. He had watched clearly these past few days. This man's intentions toward you were far from simple friendship. So, it is young Master Yi. He gave a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Thank you, young Master Yi, for taking care of Miss Feng all this time. Ye Shuyan keenly sensed that the atmosphere was wrong. This young Sect Master Bo looked at Miss Feng with too much intensity, while Miss Feng was obviously avoiding him. Their relationship was definitely not as simple as having just met once. Caring for Miss Feng is something I do willingly. He stepped forward, subtly placing himself protectively in front of you. There is no need for Sect Master Bo to concern himself. Bo Chia's gaze darkened. Was this man staking a claim? Who gave him the right? Young Master Yi seems very devoted to Miss Feng, he said coldly. Does young Master Yi know that Miss Feng's identity is rather extraordinary? What do you mean by this, Sect Master Bo? The bloodline of the Phoenix clan is incredibly precious. If word gets out, it will surely attract endless covetous eyes. Bo Chia spoke with hidden meaning. Young Master Yi is but a rogue cultivator. Can you truly protect Miss Feng? You couldn't listen anymore, Sect Master Bo. My affairs are none of your concern. Zhao, Miss Fang. He looked at you, his eyes filled with suppressed emotions. I am merely worried about you. There is no need, you said coldly. Sect Master Bo and I are neither kin nor kith. I cannot accept such concern from you. Neither kin nor kith. Those 4 words stabbed into Bo Chia's heart like knives. They were once the closest of souls, yet now they were strangers. Let's go. Unwilling to entangle yourself with him any further, you pulled Ye Shuyan away to leave. Wait. Bo Chia suddenly spoke up, taking a brocade pouch from his robe. This is the 9-turn soul returning pill, a divine medicine for healing. It will be beneficial for Miss Feng's injuries. You didn't even look at it. I don't need it. Miss Feng should not mistreat your own body. He stubbornly placed the pouch on the stone table. This pill is unique in all the world, a treasure of my Tianji sect. The 9-turn soul returning pill? Ye Shuyan's pupils shrank slightly. This was a legendary medicine said to bring the dead back to life. Bo Chia was actually willing to part with it. You remained unmoved. I appreciate your kindness, Sect Master Bo, but I really do not need it. Young Master Ye, let's go. This time Bo Chia did not try to stop you. He stood there, watching your resolute retreating figure, his hand trembling inside his sleeve. He knew you hated him. Even if you had forgotten everything, that hatred was still carved into your bones. But he could not let go, he could not retreat a single step. Because if he retreated, he would lose you forever. Miss Feng seems to detest young Sect Master Bo, Ye Shuyan asked tentatively after you left the flower fields. You were silent for a moment. I don't know why, but seeing him just makes me feel terrible, terrible. Yes. You pressed a hand against your chest. It hurts here as if a piece has been hollowed out. Ye Shuyan fell into thought. It seemed there was indeed a story between them, and a painful one at that. It was just that Miss Feng had lost her memory, while Bo Chia, he recalled the look in Bo Chia's eyes just now, that complex mix of deep affection and despair. It didn't seem like an act, young Master Ye. You suddenly spoke up. Tell me. If someone truly cares about another person, would they hurt them? Ye Shuyan paused. Naturally not. True caring means you would rather suffer yourself than let the other person endure even the slightest grievance. Is that so? You lowered your eyelashes. Then why did you harbor such deep hatred? If Bo Chia truly cared about you, how could he have hurt you enough to make you choose nirvana just to forget everything? The night was deep, but you could not sleep. The scenes from the day kept playing in your mind. Bo Chia's gaze had been too complex for you to understand, and that 9-turn soul returning pill. You got up and walked to the window, but unexpectedly discovered someone in the courtyard. Under the moonlight, Bo Chia stood quietly beneath the parasol tree, looking up at your window. He probably didn't know you were still awake, for the emotions in his eyes were completely unguarded: longing, pain, regret. A mix of emotions shrouded his entire being in sorrow. You subconsciously wanted to look away, but for some reason, your feet felt nailed to the spot. He stood under the tree for a long time, so long that you thought he would stand there until dawn. Finally, he took something from his robe and carefully placed it on the windowsill before turning to leave. You waited until he was far away before pushing open the window. On the windowsill sat an exquisite jade box. Opening it, you found a jade flute inside. The jade flute was crystal clear, carved with intricate patterns. You picked it up for a closer look and discovered 2 small characters engraved on its body: Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui. That name again. You traced the 2 characters engraved there, and a sudden wave of familiarity washed over you. This flute, you felt as if you had seen it before. As if you had once cherished it deeply. Why, when you remember nothing, did you feel such an emotional connection to this flute? That was your favorite flute. You whipped your head around. Bo Chia had returned unnoticed, standing right there in the courtyard, his eyes fixed on you. I'm sorry, I wanted to see you one more time. His voice was barely a whisper, as if he were afraid of shattering the moment. Seeing you holding that flute, it's as if nothing has changed at all. Your grip tightened around the instrument. I told you, I am not the person you are looking for. You are. He took a step forward, his eyes brimming with agony. Even if you have forgotten, you are still you, Zhao Shui, do you know? For the past 3 months, I have lived in regret every single day. I regret not believing you back then. I regret why I treated you like that. Enough, you snapped, cutting him off. I don't know what you're talking about. Sect Leader Bo, it is late. Please leave. I can't leave. He shook his head, his eyes rimmed with red. Zhao Xue, I know you hate me. You have every right to hate me. But can you please give me a chance? Let me make it up to you. I said I am not Zhao Xue. You finally exploded, the jade flute slipping from your fingers and falling to the ground with a crisp sound. Bo Chia, you are mistaken. The person you are looking for is already dead. She died 3 months ago. Dead. Bo Chia stumbled backward, his face turning as pale as a sheet of paper. Yes, Yan Zhaoxue was indeed dead. She had died on the demon-burning platform, burned to death by his own hand. Standing before him now was Feng Qingyu, a stranger who held no memory of him. I'm sorry. His voice choked with a sob. I'm so sorry. Seeing the anguish on his face, your heart inexplicably tightened. But almost immediately, a far more intense emotion surged through you. It was hatred, a hatred that seeped deep into your very marrow. Get out, you said coldly, and do not come here again. Bo-Chia gave you a long, lingering look. He bent down to pick up the jade flute from the ground and gently placed it back on the windowsill. This belongs to you. I was just keeping it safe for these 3 months. With that, he turned and walked away, his figure looking utterly desolate. You stared at the jade flute on the windowsill, your heart in turmoil. Why? Why did seeing him in pain cause you such heartache? You were supposed to hate him, weren't you? The next day, when Ye Shuyan arrived, he noticed your haggard appearance. Miss Feng, did you not sleep well last night? He asked with concern. You shook your head. It is nothing. Is there a reason for your visit today, Master Ye? There is indeed something. He turned serious. I would like to invite Miss Feng to come somewhere with me. Where to? Qianji Pavilion. Ye Shuyan explained. There is an elder there who is skilled in medicine. He might be able to fully heal your injuries. Furthermore, he paused for a moment. I heard that this elder also understands ancient secret arts. Perhaps he can help you recover your memory. Recover your memory. Your heart skipped a beat. The Qianji Pavilion sat atop a misty green peak. You followed Ye Shuyan up the stone steps, each step a struggle. It was not because the mountain path was steep, but because of the growing unease in your heart. Miss Feng, would you like to rest for a moment? Ye Shuyan looked back, his eyes full of concern. You shook your head. No need, let's continue. Recovering your memories, did you really want to recover them? Were those forgotten paths a blessing or a curse? We're here. Before you stood an ancient pavilion, the 3 characters Qianji Pavilion on the plaque written with vigorous strength. Ye Shuyan stepped forward and knocked on the door. Junior Ye Shuyan, seeking an audience with Senior Elder Mo. Moments later, the door opened without a breeze. Come in. An aged voice called from inside. The light inside was dim, the air filled with the scent of medicinal herbs. A white-haired elder sat on a cushion. Though advanced in years, his gaze remained sharp. Senior Elder Mo, Ye Shuyan bowed respectfully. This is Miss Feng, the one I mentioned in my letter. Phoenix Clan bloodline. Elder Mo interrupted him, his gaze landing on you. I haven't seen a member of the Phoenix Clan in 300 years. Little girl, come here and let me take a look. You stepped forward, allowing him to scrutinize you. Elder Mo circled you, his brow furrowing deeper. Nirvana rebirth, yet memory loss. Interesting, very interesting. Is there a way, Senior? Ye Shuyan asked anxiously. There is a way. Elder Mo stroked his beard. But what? Elder Mo looked at you. Lass, are you sure you want to retrieve those memories? Some things are better left forgotten. You clenched your fists. I want to know the truth. The truth might not be what you want. Elder Mo sighed. Very well, this is your choice. He turned and took a black porcelain bottle from a shelf. This is the dream recall pill. Consuming it will awaken your sleeping memories. But remember, lass, once you take it, there is no turning back. You took the bottle, it was cold to the touch. Such a tiny pill could restore everything you lost. Miss Feng, there is no need to rush. Ye Shuyan looked at you worriedly. You can go back and consider it carefully. You glanced at him and put the bottle away. Thank you, Senior. Leaving the Qianji Pavilion, the 2 of you walked down the mountain in silence. Near the foot of the mountain, Ye Shuyan suddenly spoke. Miss Feng, no matter what decision you make, I will stay by your side. You stopped. Master Ye, why are you so good to me? He stopped too, looking at you earnestly. Because from the moment I first saw you, I knew you were the person I wanted to protect. But you don't know me at all. Understanding takes time. He smiled gently. I have plenty of time. You felt a warmth in your heart, but a deeper guilt surged up. He was so good, yet you couldn't give him the response he wanted. When you returned to Baihua Valley, the sky was already dark. You went back to your room alone and placed a black bottle on the table, staring at it in a trance. The void in your memory was like a massive black hole, swallowing your peace. You wanted to know who you were, why you hated Bo-Chia, and about the missing past. Yet you were afraid. Afraid the truth was too cruel, afraid you couldn't bear it. Miss, someone delivered a letter. Shao Qing pushed the door open and entered. You took the letter and recognized Bo-Chia's handwriting. After a moment of hesitation, you opened it. Zhao Shui, I know you went to the Qianji Pavilion. I beg you, do not take the dream recall pill. Forget it. Forget all the pain and hatred. You are fine now. Someone treats you sincerely. You can start over. Let the past be buried forever. I only ask that you be well, even if you never forgive me. Chia. The letter was short, but the handwriting was messy, as if written by someone in emotional turmoil. You put down the letter, your mind in even more turmoil. He didn't want you to recover your memories. Why? Was it because of a guilty conscience, or was it truly for your own good? Outside the window, the moonlight was like water. You picked up the bottle and poured out the pill. A deep red pellet lay in your palm, emitting a faint, strange fragrance. As long as you swallowed it, all mysteries would be solved. You closed your eyes and put the pill in your mouth. In an instant, the world spun. Countless fragmented images surged like a tide. You saw a little girl stumbling and running through the mountains chased by demons. Just as she despaired, a youth descended from the sky, green robes like snow, features like a painting. Don't be afraid, I'm here. That was Bochia, the 16-year-old Bochia. The scene shifted and you saw yourself following behind him step by step. Senior brother, wait for me. Senior brother, look, has my handwriting improved? Senior brother, when will you teach me swordplay? He was always indifferent, but the occasional smile was so gentle it made your heart race. Then, you saw yourself risking everything to save him, exposing your true phoenix form and exhausting your true fire to heal him. Senior brother, you can't die, please don't leave me. In his coma, he held your hand murmuring, Zhao Shui. Don't go. At that moment, you thought he cared about you too. But the scene shifted, and everything changed. Demoness, you infiltrated the TNG sect. What is your plot? Senior brother, believe me, I didn't. The evidence is conclusive. Do you still want to argue? On the demon-burning platform, the karmic fire scorched your body. You looked at him below the stage, so cold, so unfamiliar. Senior brother, are you really going to do this to me? He turned his face away, no longer looking at you. It turned out that 3 years of deep affection couldn't compare to a trumped-up charge. It turned out he could give up on you so easily. Memories were like knives, slicing into your heart cut by cut. You finally remembered everything, remembered his kindness and his cruelty. Remembered those sweet times and also the despair on the demon-burning platform. Why? You clutched your chest, tears gushing like a spring. Bochia, why? The door was kicked open and Yi Shuyan rushed in. Miss Feng, seeing your pain, he was frantic. You took the dream recall pill? You could no longer speak, only curl up on the ground, letting those memories tear at your nerves. Yi Shuyan picked you up, continuously channeling spiritual energy. Hold on, you must hold on. In a daze, you heard Xiaoqing exclaim, Young Sect Master Bo, why are you here? Zhao Shui, Bochia's voice carried unprecedented panic. What are you doing here? Yi Shuyan said coldly. Miss Feng does not want to see you. Get out of the way. Bochia stepped forward to take you. On what grounds? Yi Shuyan shielded you tighter. You have hurt her once, do you want to hurt her a second time? You don't understand. Bochia's eyes reddened. She's my person. She always has been. Your person? Ye Shuyan sneered. Then why did you push her onto the demon-burning platform? Bochia, you don't deserve her. This sentence stabbed into Bochia's heart like a blade. Yes, he didn't deserve her. But even so, he couldn't let go. I know I don't deserve her. His voice was hoarse. But Ye Shuyan, do you think you do? How much do you know about her? Do you know what flower she likes best? Do you know she can't eat spicy food? Do you know she plays the flute whenever she's in a bad mood? Ye Shuyan froze. You know nothing. Bochia said word for word. You just happened to appear and happened to treat her well. But she and I, we had 3 whole years. So what if it was 3 years? Ye Shuyan countered. In the end, you destroyed her with your own hands. The tension was palpable and it looked like a fight was about to break out. Enough. A weak voice sounded. You opened your eyes, your gaze clear. Zhao Shui. Bochia immediately threw himself towards you, but you raised a hand to stop him. Don't call me Zhao Shui. You propped yourself up to sit, your voice terribly calm. Yan Zhao Shui is already dead. She died on the demon-burning platform. Bochia shook all over. You remember everything? Yes, I remember everything. You looked at him, no hatred in your eyes, only deep disappointment. Bochia, I finally understand why after Nirvana I forgot everything, yet couldn't forget my hatred for you. Zhao Shui, listen to my explanation. No need. You interrupted him. When you chose to believe that so-called evidence instead of believing me, who you spent 3 years with day and night, everything was already over. No, it's not over. Bochia was anxious. Zhao Shui, I know I was wrong. I can compensate. Compensate? You laughed, laughing until tears came out. Bochia, how will you compensate? Compensate for the pain of burning for 3 days and nights on the demon-burning platform. Compensate for the betrayal I exchanged my all for. Or compensate for the 3 years of youth I spent loving the wrong person? Every word was like a slap on Bochia's face. He opened his mouth but found he had nothing to say. Yes, how could he compensate? With what could he compensate for that pain, that despair? I just want to know one thing now. You took a deep breath. Have you found the person who framed me back then? Bochia's expression changed slightly. You didn't look. You understood. Because in your heart I was always guilty, wasn't I? Even now that you regret it, subconsciously you still feel that I might really be a demon race spy. It's not like that. Enough, Bochia. You shook your head. From now on, we go our separate ways. You are your young sect master of the Tianji sect, and I am the orphan of the Phoenix clan. No more ties. No. Bochia wanted to step forward, but was stopped by Ye Shuyan. Young sect master Bo, Miss Feng has made herself very clear. Ye Shuyan said coldly. Please leave. Bochia stared at you intently. Zhao Shui, are you really going to be this heartless? Heartless? You found it ridiculous. Bochia, when you watched me burn without changing your expression, did you ever think about these 2 words, heartless? This sentence completely destroyed his defenses. Yes, the truly heartless person was him. He was the one who pushed her into the abyss with his own hands, so what right did he have now to ask for her forgiveness? I will prove it to you. He looked at you deeply. I will find the real culprit and clear your name. Xiaoxue, give me a little time. No need. You closed your eyes. I don't need you to clear my name. Bo Chia, you should go. Don't come back. He wanted to say more, but Ye Xuyan forcibly escorted him out. The room fell silent. You leaned against the headboard, exhausted, as tears slipped silently down your face. Miss Feng, Ye Xuyan wanted to comfort you but didn't know where to start. Mr. Yi. You wiped away your tears, thank you. Don't mention it, he said by the bed. How do you feel now, Miss Feng? It hurts. You gave a bitter smile, but I'm also very clear-headed. Yes, finally clear-headed. The person you loved for 3 years never truly believed in you. It turned out that in his heart, you were never as important as his righteous path. Miss Feng, let the past be the past. Yi Xuyan said softly. The future is still long. You looked at him. This gentleman had been protecting you since he appeared. He never doubted you, never hurt you. Mr. Yi, do you regret meeting me? Why would I regret it? He smiled. Meeting Miss Feng is the greatest fortune of my life. Your heart warmed slightly. Perhaps Elder Mo was right. Some people are worth cherishing, while others only deserve to be forgotten. Outside the window, Bo Chia stood in the darkness, unwilling to leave for a long time. He lost. He lost completely. He lost to his own stupidity, to his own lack of trust, but he wasn't willing to accept it. Come here, he said in a low voice. Senior brother. A figure in black emerged from the shadows. Thoroughly investigate the events from 3 months ago. Ruthlessness flashed in Bo Chia's eyes. I want to know exactly who framed her. Yes. And one more thing. He paused. Send people to protect her in secret. Don't let her find out. Even if she didn't want his protection, he would still watch over her. It was the only thing he could do now. 1 year later. At the peak of Phoenix Cry Mountain, the morning glow was like fire. You stood at the edge of the cliff. Crimson gold phoenix true fire circled your body. The powerful pressure kept birds within 100 miles away. You hadn't wasted this year. After regaining your memory, you realized a truth. If you rely on mountains, they will collapse. If you rely on people, they will run. Only by becoming powerful yourself can you truly control your destiny. So you began practicing the Phoenix clan's secret arts. The legacies buried deep in your bloodline awakened one by one. It turned out that the Phoenix clan wasn't just a beast of auspiciousness. They were once the rulers of this continent, possessing the power to burn the heavens and boil the seas. Miss Feng, it's time to eat. Ye Xuyan's voice arrived, gentle as always. He had stayed by your side this past year, never leaving for half a step. You retracted your true fire and turned to look at him. Mr. Yi, you don't always have to do this. I'm no longer that sickly woman who needs taking care of. I know. He smiled and handed over the food box. But taking care of you has become a habit. You took the food box, warmth surging in your heart. Over this year he never asked for anything, just silently accompanied and guarded you. Whenever you hit a bottleneck in cultivation, he would search through ancient texts to find a solution. Whenever you were plagued by inner demons, he would talk to you through the night. I heard the cultivation world hasn't been peaceful lately. You said while eating, the demon race seems to be making moves. That is true. Ye Xuyan looked grave. All major sects are preparing for war. As the leader of the righteous path, the Tianji sect is bearing the brunt. Tianji sect. You paused, then continued asking, how is Bo Chia? Ye Xuyan looked at you in surprise. You hadn't brought him up once this past year. I heard he became a different person this year. Ye Xuyan said honestly. Not only has his cultivation advanced greatly, but his methods have become more ruthless. Half a year ago, he found out the second elder of Tianji sect was the one who framed you back then. He directly crippled the elder's cultivation and expelled him from the sect. So that was it. You felt no ripple in your heart. So what if the truth was out? The 3 years that passed couldn't return, and the pain on the demon-burning platform couldn't be erased. There is one more thing. Ye Xuyan hesitated. He broke off the engagement with Su Wanner. Oh, you raised an eyebrow slightly. Su Wanner, you remembered, that female disciple who always followed Bo Chia around. Gentle and virtuous, she was everyone's top pick to be the sect master's wife. Apparently the Su family is very dissatisfied, but Bo Chia is adamant. Ye Xuyan paused. He said publicly that in this lifetime he will only have one Dao companion, and that will never change in life or death. Never change in life or death? You laughed softly, but the smile didn't reach your eyes. Miss Feng. Ye Xuyan suddenly turned serious. Do you intend to stay on Phoenix Cry Mountain forever? Why? The demon race is invading, and the world will fall into chaos. With Miss Feng's current cultivation level, you will inevitably be dragged into it. He looked at you. Why don't we find a paradise away from the world and avoid these conflicts? You shook your head. I am the last remaining bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Some responsibilities cannot be avoided. Besides, you looked into the distance. I wanted to test just how strong the Phoenix true fire really is. Ye Xuyan fell silent. He knew you had changed. You had become stronger and also more aloof. The woman who used to be fragile when injured was gone, replaced by a true phoenix princess. Whatever decision Miss Feng makes, you will follow, he said earnestly. You turned to look at him. The sunlight outlined his gentle profile. This man was always like this, gentle and firm. Ye Xiuyan. You called his name directly for the first time. Why do you do this? Because I want to be with you. His answer was simple and direct, not to protect, not to save, just to accompany, to walk with you over high mountains and deep seas, to watch the sun, moon, and stars with you. Your heart trembled. Yes, he never treated you like a weakling who needed saving. He simply wanted to be by your side. It will be dangerous. I'm not afraid. We might die. Then we die together. He smiled, indifferent and calm. You looked at him deeply, finally showing the first sincere smile of the year. All right then, together. 3 months later, the demon race launched a massive invasion. The war between the righteous and the demonic factions broke out on the Tianqi plains. Blood flowed like rivers, and lives were devastated. At the critical moment, a crimson goat figure appeared from the sky. Wherever the Phoenix True Fire passed, the demon army turned to ash. It's the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan still has a descendant. The cultivation world was in an uproar. The missing Phoenix princess had returned with an invincible aura, turning the tide. You stood in mid-air, the phantom image of a phoenix spreading its wings behind you. Your pressure was overwhelming. You, who once needed protection, had now become a strong guardian of all living beings. Long live Miss Fang's divine power. Cheers came from below. Your gaze swept across the battlefield and landed on that figure in green robes. Bo Chia was also looking at you. There was pride in his eyes, pain, and mostly deep attachment. His Zhao Shui had finally become a true phoenix. Unfortunately, she was no longer his. After the battle, the various sects held a banquet to celebrate. You didn't want to attend, but Ye Xiuyan persuaded you. Miss Fang's prestige is at its peak now. If you don't show your face, it might arouse suspicion. Makes sense. You nodded and agreed. The banquet was held at the Tianji sect. When you stepped into the main hall, everyone stood up. Greetings, Phoenix Princess. You nodded slightly and sat in the main seat. Ye Xiuyan naturally sat beside you, drawing many sideways glances. The Phoenix Princess graces us with her presence. The Tianji sect is honored. Bo Chia walked over holding a wine cup. This seat offers a toast to the princess. You took the wine cup but didn't drink. You are too polite, Sect Master Bo. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Everyone could tell that the Phoenix Princess didn't seem very friendly towards the Tianji sect master. I heard the princess's cultivation has advanced greatly this year. I wonder if you could give us some pointers. Someone tried to smooth things over. I don't deserve the credit. You said indifferently, I just got lucky and awakened my bloodline inheritance. The princess is too humble, that person continued. By the way, I wonder about the relationship between the princess and Mr. Yi. We are friends. You interrupted him, good friends. Ye Xiuyan smiled bitterly upon hearing this. Friends, was this past year of companionship just friendship in your heart? Bo Chia, however, looked as if struck by lightning. Friends? She said they were friends. Does that mean he still has a chance? Halfway through the banquet, a disciple suddenly rushed in to report. Reporting to the sect master, the Su family has brought people here. They say they want justice. Bo Chia frowned. Send them back. But the disciple looked troubled. The Su family head says that if the sect master doesn't give them an explanation, they won't leave. Truly persistent. Bo Chia was about to lose his temper when he heard you speak. Let them in. This palace wants to see what kind of justice they are asking for. A moment later, the Su family group walked into the main hall. Leading them was Su Waner. She looked much haggard, and when she saw Bo Chia, resentment flashed in her eyes. Brother Chia, she said softly, are you really being this heartless? Bo Chia kept a cold face. Su Waner. I've said it before, there was never any affection between us. The engagement back then was decided by our elders. I never agreed to it. But all these years, I've been by your side. That was your own wishful thinking. Bo Chia showed no mercy. There has only ever been one person in my heart. Saying that, he looked at you, the deep affection in his eyes undisguised. The whole room was in an uproar. The Tianji sect master publicly confessing to the Phoenix Princess. This was huge news. You picked up your teacup, your expression unchanged. Su Wangner's eyes turned red with anger. Is it because of her? This demoness? Shut your mouth. Bo Chia roared. If you dare insult her again, don't blame me for being rude. Did I say something wrong? Su Wangner went all out. If she hadn't seduced you back then. How could you have sent her to the demon-burning platform? As soon as these words were spoken, the whole room went silent. Demon-burning platform? The Tianji sect master once sent the Phoenix princess to the demon-burning platform? You put down your teacup and finally spoke. Miss Su, watch your words. Why should I watch my tone? Su Wanner sneered. The princess of the Phoenix clan is certainly imposing, but don't forget how you begged Brother Chia back then. You told him you loved him, you pleaded with him to believe in you, yet he still chose the justice of the Tianji sect. Enough. Bo Chia's face turned deathly pale. It's not enough, Su Wanner pressed on. Princess of the Phoenix clan, you stand so high and mighty now, but have you ever considered how wretched you looked back then? They say you burned on the demon burning platform for 3 days and 3 nights, in such agony that you couldn't even maintain your human form. Boom! True phoenix fire surged into the sky, and the temperature within the great hall instantly spiked. You rose slowly to your feet, golden light swirling in your eyes. Su Wanner, you are courting death. Su Wanner was cowed by the oppressive aura, her face draining of color, yet she forced herself to hold her ground. What? Did I hit a nerve? Please, calm down, Miss Feng. Ye Xiuyan stepped forward, gently taking your hand. She is not worth it. His touch helped settle your nerves. That's right. Why bother arguing with someone like her? I am in a good mood today, so I will not hold this against you. You retracted your aura, but if there is a next time, the true phoenix fire will not be so discriminating. With that, you turned to leave. Zhao Shui, Bo Chia chased after you. I'm sorry, I didn't know she would. What does that have to do with you? You didn't look back, sect leader Bo. Keep your people in line. Stepping out of the hall, the night air was crisp and cold. Ye Xiuyan walked silently beside you until you reached a secluded spot, where he asked softly, Are you alright? I'm fine. You took a deep breath. I'm just feeling a bit restless. Miss Feng. He spoke suddenly. Do you know, for this past year I have been waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for you to truly let go. He looked at you, his gaze tender. I know you haven't fully made peace with the past yet, so I am willing to wait. I will wait until you can face it calmly. Until you are ready to start a new life. You froze. So he knew everything, yet he had never pressured you. Yi, Xiuyan, shh. He placed a finger against your lips. You don't need to answer me now, Miss Feng. We still have a long road ahead of us. Under the moonlight, his smile was as warm as spring. You suddenly felt that the hollow void in your heart didn't feel quite so cold anymore. The time has come. Late into the night, a figure in black appeared before Bo Chia. You mean to say? A sharp glint flashed in Bo Chia's eyes. Although the demon race was defeated, the demon lord is still alive. According to intelligence, they plan to launch a sneak attack on Phoenix Crime Mountain and capture the princess of the Phoenix clan. Bo Chia stood up abruptly. When? 3 days from now. Gather all our elite disciples. We go to Phoenix Crime Mountain. Sect leader, isn't this too risky? If the princess misunderstands, I cannot let any harm come to her. Bo Chia's voice was resolute. Even if she hates me for the rest of her life, I will protect her. 3 days later, at Phoenix Crime Mountain, you were in meditation when you suddenly sensed the approach of several powerful demonic auras. Miss, it's terrible. Xiao Qing came running over in a panic. The demon race army has surrounded Phoenix Crime Mountain. You opened your eyes, a cold light flashing within your golden pupils. They have arrived just in time. I was worrying about where I could test my skills. Stepping out of the cave abode, you saw a sea of black demon race forces filling the foothills below. Leading them was the demon lord himself, wearing a sinister grin. Princess of the Phoenix clan. Please come with this lord. With just you? You sneered. With all of us. Dozens of figures emerged from the shadows, all experts of the demon race. Princess, I will help you. Ye Xiuyan arrived, sword in hand. There is no need. You stopped him. This is the perfect chance to try out the Phoenix 9 transformations I have newly mastered. As soon as the words left your mouth, your figure vanished instantly. When you reappeared, you had transformed into a massive golden phoenix, blotting out the sky. Kill. The demon army surged forward, pouring down a torrent of spells. You spread your wings and took to the sky, your phoenix true fire raining down like a storm. Every single flame was enough to incinerate a swath of the enemy forces. Incredible. Ye Xiuyan murmured. Is this the power of the Phoenix clan after awakening? It was powerful enough to command all. Just as the battle raged, the unexpected happened. The demon lord suddenly summoned a pitch-black artifact, instantly enveloping the area within a barrier. Ha ha ha! Phoenix princess, this is the trapping phoenix formation prepared just for you. You try to break the barrier, only to find your phoenix true fire suppressed by more than half. Vile, Ye Xiuyan roared. All's fair in war, the demon lord sneered. Phoenix princess, time to die. At that crucial moment, a streak of sword light pierced the sky. Tianji sword formation rise. Bo Chia arrived with the elite disciples of the Tianji sect. In an instant, they deployed the sword array, trapping the demon army. Bo Chia, you exclaimed in surprise. Let's break the formation together first, he said, not sparing you a glance as he focused on the enemy. With reinforcements, the tide of the battle turned instantly. You and Bo Chia joined forces and quickly shattered the trapping phoenix formation. Retreat. Sensing things turning against him, the demon lord fled with his remaining forces. With the crisis averted, you reverted to your human form and looked at Bo Chia, who was covered in blood. Why did you come? He started to speak, but suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. I received word. The demon race intended you harm. You're injured? It was only then you noticed how pale his face was. It is nothing. He shook his head. It is enough that you are safe. With that, he turned to leave. Wait, you called out to stop him. You saved my life. I owe you a debt. Bo Chia gave a bitter smile. I do not want your debt. Zhao Xue, I simply could not watch you die. Bo Chia's figure froze for a moment in the moonlight. He slowly turned around, the blood blossoming like dark flowers on his green robes, while the corners of his mouth twitched into a faint ghost of a smile. Fengming Mountain falls within the Tianji sect's territory. Eliminating demons is our duty. He deliberately avoided your gaze, turning instead to Ye Shuyan. Master Ye, I entrust her to your care. His words were too calm, as if he were truly just a stranger passing by who had drawn his sword to help. But you saw his hand trembling inside his sleeve, his knuckles clenched so tight they turned white, crumpling the subtle cloud embroidery at his cuffs. Ye Shuyan stepped forward, placing himself half a step in front of you to shield you. There is no need for the sect master to worry. Bo Chia's gaze lingered on your face for a heartbeat, as if trying to etch something into his very soul, before finally he simply nodded. I take my leave. The people of the Tianji sect flew away on their swords, their sword light cutting through the night sky like scattering meteors. You watched that figure in green disappear into the deep clouds when a sudden dense pain bloomed in your chest. It wasn't hatred, it was something far more complex, like a spark buried in ashes that refused to die out, yet could no longer catch fire. His injuries are severe, Ye Shuyan said suddenly. The Demon Lord's final soul-devouring claw was meant for your right wing. You snapped your head around. That was right. You had been putting all your strength into breaking the barrier, leaving your right wing completely exposed. So that sword light that suddenly appeared to shield you wasn't a coincidence. Why bother? You whispered softly, unsure if you were asking Bo Chia or yourself. Ye Shuyan smoothed the stray strands of hair whipped up by the strong wind. Some people would rather shatter themselves than fail to protect the moon in their heart. His fingertips were warm, bringing a ticklish sensation as they brushed against your cold ear. Let us go back. The wind is picking up. 3 days later, the TNG sect delivered a box of ancient texts. The sect master says these are all the records regarding Phoenix clan cultivation from the past 1,000 years. The young disciple delivering them said, not daring to look up. Among them are 3 soul copies which might be beneficial to your highness the princess. You opened the yellowed book on top. The margins were filled with dense, newly written annotations. You recognized the clear, upright handwriting. It was Bo Chia's on one page. A dried wutong leaf was pressed. On the leaf's veins, a tiny line of cinnabar characters read, the phoenix does not perch but on the wutong tree. Chia's attachment is but a delusion. Your fingertips traced those words as you fell into a long silence. Shaoqing leaned over to look and cried out in alarm. Miss, why is there blood on this page? You closed the book box. Take it and burn it. But these are soul copies. Burn it. As the flames licked at the pages, you stood by the window gazing at the wutong tree. The leaves rustled, sounding like someone's suppressed sigh. You knew these ancient texts must have cost him a great deal to find, perhaps still bearing fresh bloodstains. But so what? No matter how well you glue a shattered jade cup back together, the cracks will always be there. Ye Shuyan was practicing his sword in the courtyard. Sensing your gaze, he stopped his movements and looked back. As his sword tip broke through the morning mist, it brought with it a string of crystal-clear dewdrops. No words were needed, he had already read the answer in your eyes. He simply smiled faintly, flourished his sword, and gestured for you to look at the fresh peach blossoms arranged on the stone table. He was always like this, leaving you ample room to advance or retreat. Another half-month passed, and news spread through the cultivation world. Bo Chia had requested to enter seclusion at the Cliff of Reflection for 3 years. They say it is to conquer his inner demons. Shaoqing's news always carried a touch of dramatic flair. That day, he returned to the sect covered in blood. He publicly removed the sect master's seal and just left. Several elders tried to stop him but couldn't. You were tuning your zither strings when you heard this, and your fingertips trembled, causing the bass note to suddenly pitch high. Inner demons. They all say it is because of the matter where he wrongly accused you, miss. Shaoqing suddenly fell silent, carefully watching your expression. The zither strings hummed and then fell silent. You remembered his words on the demon-burning platform. The evidence is conclusive. You remember the tight line of his lips when he turned his face away. It turned out you weren't the only one haunted by the past. When Ye Shuyan brought in a jar of newly brewed plum wine, you were staring blankly at your zither. He brushed his robes and sat down, popped open the mud seal, and filled 2 cups. I heard Sect Master Bo has entered seclusion. You made a sound of acknowledgement and took the cup. The fragrance of plums was cool and clear, yet the taste on the tongue was bitter. The Cliff of Reflection is covered in snow year-round. The cold pool at the bottom reflects the deepest nightmares in a person's heart, he said suddenly. I stayed there for 3 days once. You raised your eyes to look at him. I was investigating clues to solve an old case. He smiled, spinning his cup. By the 3rd day I had nearly frozen into a statue of ice. I truly cannot imagine what spending 3 years there would be like. The wine burned in your throat. You closed your eyes but you didn't see the snowy ice pool. You saw Bo Chia kneeling amidst the ashes of the demon-burning platform. The wind whipped up the charred debris, and he reached out to grab it, but he could hold on to nothing. Shuyan, for the first time, you voluntarily reached out and gripped his wrist. Come with me somewhere. The peach blossom forest on the back mountain of the Tianji sect was the place where you and Bo Chia first met. 10 years had passed, and the peach branches had become more gnarled, yet the falling flowers drifted down like rain, just as they had back then. You sent Ye Shuyan away and walked alone to the old peach tree at the deepest part of the woods. At the roots there was an inconspicuous dirt pit. Digging down 3 feet, you revealed an iron box rusted through. Inside lay a jade hairpin, broken into 2 pieces. It was a gift Bo Chia had given you on the year you turned 15. There was also a stack of yellowed letters. On the top one was a crude, childish drawing. A young man in green robes standing with a sword on his back, and a girl in a skirt standing on tiptoe to tuck a flower into his hair. Beside the drawing was a line, "Like swallows beneath the eaves may we see each other year after year." The iron box was buried back into the earth, along with all the youthful infatuations that had never been spoken aloud. When you stood up, you saw Bo Chia standing at the edge of the peach forest. His white Taoist robes hung loosely on his frame, his wrist bones protruding sharply. Only his eyes were alarmingly bright, like ashes burning with the last remnant of a soul. "I knew you would come." His voice was incredibly hoarse. "Every year on this day, you come here to bury a pot of peach blossom wine. You froze in place." That was right. Today was the anniversary of the day you first met, so he remembered. "I am not here to mourn anything. You brushed the fallen flowers from your clothes. I am only here to bring this to an end." He took a step forward, and falling petals landed on his shoulders and hair. "After that day on the demon-burning platform, I dream of this place every night. I dream of you as you were at 15, chasing after me and calling me senior brother, with peach petals stuck to your temple." His voice cut off abruptly. He suddenly turned his head and coughed violently, speckles of dark red blood splattering onto his pristine white cuffs. You watched him in silence. In the past you would have panicked and pulled out a handkerchief to wipe it away for him. Now, you only felt that the blood was piercing to the eyes. "Bo Chia." You called his name softly, as if calling out to a cracked porcelain statue, "On the day you burned me to death. Did you ever imagine you would regret it?" His body swayed, and he leaned against the peach tree to barely stay upright. "I regret it every single day. But if you could do it all over again, you would still send me to the demon-burning platform." That was not a question. Amidst the rain of flowers, the last light in his eyes was extinguished. After a long while he nodded, very, very slowly. "I would," you smiled. This answer had long been expected, and when that piece of rotten flesh was finally cut from your heart, it didn't even hurt that much. So you see, there was never a misunderstanding between us. It was always a dead end. You turned and walked out of the peach forest, never looking back. I hope you conquer your inner demons and attain the great Tao. Ye Shuyan was waiting outside the woods, holding a freshly broken peach blossom branch. Seeing you come out, he asked nothing, simply handing the branch to you. "Shall we put this in a vase?" You took the flower branch, your fingertips unintentionally brushing against his palm. It was warm and dry, so you took advantage of the moment to hold his hand, feeling that bit of warmth from the mortal world slowly seeping into you. "Shuyan." You gazed at the surging sea of clouds in the distance. "When the matter with the demon race is settled, shall we go see the coral reefs in the South Sea? I heard the merfolk sing on nights when the moon is full." He gripped your hand back tightly, the sunlight leaking through his fingers, feeling just right. "All right." Deep within the peach forest behind you, someone leaned against the old tree and slowly slid down to sit on the ground. Blood splattered onto the falling flowers, looking like rouged tears that had arrived 10 years too late, and